Hello everyone, I warmly welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for honoring me with your presence today. And I've prepared something truly special for you. You might have seen the short video, The Short, on Saturday, and now I'd like to talk a little bit about it. First of all, please take a look at the box because it's absolutely amazing. And with that, I'm going to say a few things about it. First of all, please keep in mind that the Oban distillery is one of the oldest distilleries in Scotland. To be precise, they've been making whiskey since 1794. Let me say that again. They've been making whiskey since 1794, and their distillation technique is absolutely traditional. Just imagine all the exquisite whiskey they meticulously produce is made by only a very small team of 7 dedicated people. They even affectionately call it the exceptional whiskey made by 14 skilled hands. So every single precious drop of whiskey produced at the renowned Oban distillery is carefully crafted by those 14 experienced hands. There are truly no adequate words to express this, I have to say. And if you look closely at this beautiful bottle, it's a typical and deeply cherished Scottish tradition. A venerable distillery that has been actively operating on the market for well over 200 remarkable years and is still meticulously crafting exceptional whiskey? No, most definitely not. There must be something entirely different and quite intriguing going on in the background, or perhaps even more deeply behind the scenes. And I have to honestly say, the undeniable fact that Diageo strategically bought up a significant bunch of various distilleries across the beautiful landscape of Scotland, and then basically every single year consistently releases one of these highly anticipated and unique expressions. This particular series, which truly defines some kind of overarching concept, is primarily about the distilleries themselves, showcasing either the rich Scottish history, fascinating legends, or intricate maturation techniques in some significant way. And this specific bottle is an Oban with a distinctive rum cask finish, which I think is actually quite rare and rather unique. It's not just incredibly rare for the Oban distillery, but it's truly exceptional and rare in Scotland in general. So yeah, this is a rather typical Scottish distillery's whiskey, which was uniquely matured in a very distinctive Caribbean rum cask. I already mentioned that the renowned Oban distillery has been prominently on the market since the year 1794, diligently making its fine whiskies ever since then, consistently producing spirits of remarkable quality. And by the way, Oban is also the name of the town, so the distillery itself was named after the town. And back in the day, the distillery was built by the sea so they could transport goods and bring in or ship out various raw materials as quickly as possible. But the town has developed, expanded, and grown so much that now the distillery is practically only 209 steps away from the sea. Once again, I'm not sure if this is interesting, but it's 209 steps away. Oban, by the way, operates on less than 1 hectare, so on one hand it's a micro distillery, on the other hand it's a very old traditional distillery, and thirdly it's so small that it's basically run by just 14 hands. In fact, there are only 17 people working there at the distillery, and they handle all kinds of activities. Another interesting fact is that as a micro distillery, if I remember correctly, I didn't look this up just now, but as far as I recall, they produce about 700,000 bottles a year. By the way, as a micro distillery, if I think about palinka in Hungary, and if it were regulated, meaning there were rules about how palinka could be made, and if a distillery produced 700,000 bottles annually, that would indeed represent a truly significant and substantial GDP added value for the entire country. However, just like with many other similar things, I honestly don't think that particular aspect has been properly regulated either. I certainly don't want to bring any contentious politics into this discussion. The packaging box itself is simply fantastic. For me, it genuinely gives off this incredibly vibrant and energetic kind of Zumba feeling. It's full of colors, full of movement, full of life. I really love this whole thing. I also think the bottle itself is fantastic, especially the labeling. So let's see what this story has to offer. Oh, I almost forgot to mention this is the 2023 edition, so there's already a 24 and a 25, but unfortunately, neither of those has made it to Hungary yet. But it looks like I'll be able to get my hands on one through a good friend. So what I wanted to say is that the 2023 batch was carefully set to 58 degrees and bottled precisely that way, and it was aged for a full 11 years in barrels, with the crucial final stage in rum casks. The color actually seems quite transparent, probably making it less likely to be skipped over. It is possible that they used a charred barrel, or perhaps the rum cask simply did not impart as much rich color as, for instance, a sherry cask or even a bourbon barrel would typically have. But of course, it absolutely does not contain any artificially added coloring agents or any other unnecessary additives whatsoever. Please take a very close look at the beautifully designed box, and then I will proceed to say that the aroma is also truly and remarkably explosive, offering a complex and captivating olfactory experience. The scent. It's absolutely incredible, truly captivating, how this wonderfully sweet and delightfully tangy aroma just bursts into your nose with such an immediate and vibrant intensity. It's a complex and intriguing fragrance that immediately grabs your attention. I find myself struggling to even really tell what specific flavors or distinct scents are truly present within this intricate bouquet. But one thing is undeniably clear. It's definitely not the usual familiar and often predictable whiskey smell that one might expect, that's for sure. This unique olfactory experience sets the stage for what promises to be an equally remarkable tasting journey. The taste, it's truly phenomenal. An incredible, indeed a remarkable number of distinct and delightful flavors swirl around and dance within your mouth, and they're all quite wonderfully sweet. None of them are at all overpowering, and I must emphatically say these aren't primarily the familiar flavors typically associated with traditional whiskey. It's much more like an exciting and unexpected adventure, one that we're not necessarily accustomed to or used to experiencing from the conventional world of whiskey, but rather a truly unique kind of a truly novel and profoundly innovative approach to conceptualization and thought that brings this kind of remarkably strong and distinctive uniqueness directly into the very essence of the bottled product. A remarkably strong and distinctive uniqueness. The rich and complex sensation derived from the rum barrel aging process is extraordinarily and unmistakably pronounced. Furthermore, there is such a profoundly and distinctly different sweet flavor that truly characterizes it to it, which is actually quite good indeed. So I absolutely and unequivocally think it's genuinely good. It's certainly interesting, but also undeniably good. I honestly don't know if I would readily swap all of my preferred whiskies for this particular kind of distinctive flavor profile. I'm definitely not entirely sure about that, but I do truly think there are at least one or two specific bottles that many discerning people would very gladly take a chance on. Something quite unique like this and truly appreciate the experience. And starts to venture in this direction, that's definitely something. And the fact that it's Oban doing it, I have to say, it also dispels some of my concerns about Scotland, about how much they should stick to tradition or how conservative they are, or whether they're even thinking about achieving some kind of progress in the future. So I think it's fantastic. I definitely recommend that if you have the chance, you should try it. I think it's an absolutely brilliant drink, very special and very unique. So if you can, have some whiskey today as well. The holidays are approaching. This could be one of those moments when you allow yourself a bottle you might not have before. It doesn't necessarily have to be any particular one. And thank you so much for joining me on this very special adventure. Thank you. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your day as well. Cheers.